Hi, and welcome back to Wild and Wheels. Today, we're going to be getting the fiberglass finished up. And we're going to be getting it mounted onto the frame and actually make this thing look like a PUG once again. We got to get the fiberglass on before we can finalize the position of where the engine's going to be sitting, so make sure it's not going to run into anything. And then at that point in time, we can determine what size belt we're going to need. And, so a lot of stuff kind of hinges on getting the fiberglass mounted. Before we can get it mounted, we got to get it finished up. Now, I know it's kind of boring to watch me work on fiberglass, so I'm probably not going to show a whole lot of it. But I'm going to be doing the exact same thing that I was doing before when I went through the more detailed videos on fiberglass repair. I'm going to be doing the same thing. I'm just going to continue on it. We're going to try to get it busted out as quick as possible. It's a little bit warmer today than it was when I first was doing the fiberglass, so hopefully, fingers crossed, fiberglass is going to cure quickly and I'll be able to just continue on and move forward with the process, and it'll go a lot quicker. So with that being said, I'll probably just set up a nice little montage and just, so listen to some sweet tunes and enjoy watching me work on some fiberglass. Okay, so as you can see here, I just took literally fiberglass and I chopped it up into teeny tiny little pieces. Just small pieces. We're going to add resin to this, and that's what we're going to create. We're going to use to create our peanut butter. And we're going to pack that into all the holes and get all the holes filled. I do have one more little chunk I got to reconstruct right here, and then we're just going to pack all the holes full. Once those are done, we're going to come back and we're going to start sanding, getting this bad boy shaped up and smoothed out and looking good. And then it's time to paint. All right. And now that we've created this mat of goop, that's what we want. That can go right into those little holes, and you just pack it down in there. Now, you do want to be careful that you don't create any air pockets. Pack it in there and then just smear it out. You can smear it out perfectly smooth. Take a little bit of resin. Let's get it kind of gooped down in there. Spread it around the area a little bit. Doesn't take much. Grab our stringy, goopy little mess here. We're going to work it down into the hole. Massage it around a little bit. Try to make sure we don't end up with any air bubbles. And then we're going to spread this bad boy out. Boom. Hole deleted. All right. So I actually did end up using a lot of that peanut butter as kind of a fairing compound to fill in the joint cracks and kind of smooth the surface of this piece that we reconstructed here, just to kind of give it a nice, smoother bevel. Because when we did build it, there was a little bit of a crack right along the seams that where the fiberglass mat didn't, so we just use this as kind of a fairing compound. So that should make it nice and easy. Should be able to just sand that down smooth once this is dried. I'm gonna go ahead and take this outside, let it sit in the sun for a little bit, and hopefully it'll cure faster. All right, well, that's going to do it for now. The resin isn't curing as quickly as I would like, but then again, it's also, you know, I think it's probably about 55 or 60 degrees today, so it's not super warm. I will say this: if you're going to be using this Total Boat epoxy resin for your fiberglass, and you're going to be not 95 degrees and 100% humidity, do not use the slow hardener. I would highly recommend getting the fast hardener. It's just going to, you know, help you out in the long run. This stuff is taking a long time to cure, which is fine. It's not bad, but I got those outside. I got them sitting in the sun, and we're just going to let those bad boys do their thing for however long it takes for them to do that. On the nose piece, you can see there, what I decided to do is just coat the outside of it in just a thin layer of resin. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and I'm going to sand it all down nice and smooth. That should get rid of all the little squirrel cracks without having to just dig into the gel coat too much. It'll kind of help keep the surface of it nice and smooth, kind of get rid of any little imperfections or spots that aren't perfectly smooth. And we can come back and sand all that down, make it look nice, and then paint it, and we should be good to go. As far as the fenders go, we're going to have to basically do that step with the fenders as well also. So the next step for those is get all the tape peeled off of that, sand it down. We're going to get rid of all of the gray paint that's on top of the gel coat, get that all cleaned up nice and smooth, and then we'll come back over with some resin, same kind of thing, and we're going to paint the resin over everything, set that out, let that cure. Probably that's going to end up being an overnight thing. Then we'll come back and we'll trim all of the pieces in, because I got to trim the one side that I constructed, get that smoothed out, and then sand that all down, make sure that's all nice and smooth and flat and flush, and then we should be ready for paint for that guy. Once those pieces are painted, then it's time to slam these bad dudes on, and we gotta get that engine going. We're so close. I just can't wait to drive this thing. All right, we got the fenders. They're all painted, sanded down. It doesn't look the greatest, and I'll be the first to admit that because I'm not well versed in the fiberglass repair. I think this is like the second time I've ever tried to fix anything fiberglass, so could be a lot better. But I did want to say real quick, I did get a new microphone. I got, now I feel like I'm on TV, it's kind of cool. But decided to upgrade from the $20 microphone to the $50 microphone. But I was going to say real quick, so this is pretty much, we just got to take the 2x4s out. She's ready to bolt on. And I'm pretty excited about that. We do need to finish up the nose piece though. And I will tell you, you can see the very beginning of the video, I actually took resin and I went over the entire thing on the outside of it with a thin layer of resin, thinking that's going to kind of, I could use it as basically fairing compound. I'd kind of smooth it out and then make it, smoother and nicer and shinier. Well, it didn't cure. And I don't know if it's the resin didn't want to work right, if it's the temperature that didn't want to work right. I don't know, because I don't know much about fiberglass. I'm not a fiberglass expert. I don't know really what I'm doing. I'm just, figuring it out as I go. So that being said, don't do that, because now I have to sand it all off, because it's, I was just going to, kind of sand it smooth, make sure I had a nice, even, smooth finish, and it, kind of wanted to really put like a nice, I guess basically use it like a fairing compound, just to really kind of smooth it out, sand it down, so when you paint it, it's like perfectly smooth and looks like fresh fiberglass. And it did not do that at all. It started getting gummy, and it's it's loading up my sanding pads, which kind of sucks, because then you got to change them out frequently. So if you got a fiberglass project and you're trying to smooth it out, I would not recommend using Bondo. Bondo does not flex very well. It's designed to go on steel panels for cars. It's not really designed to flex. It will chip and crack and peel right off. So there might be somebody else out there, maybe one of you guys watching is like, yeah, I do a lot of fiberglass, and this is what you use to fair it out. Something that will be, because fiberglass can flex and bend, and so you need something that adheres to the surface of it that can also flex and bend and not chip off or peel off. But we got the fenders finished. I think I want to paint the inside of the fenders, but I think I'm going to paint it black. Like what you do on the fender wells on a car or your pickup truck, paint the inside of the fender wells black. I think it'll give it a nice little pop. But let's go ahead and jump into, so basically, long story short, what I'm trying to say, I got to sand the entire nose back down to just the original fiberglass, and then we'll paint it, we'll mask it off, we'll paint the red, and then let that dry, and then while that's drying, I might paint this black on the underneath side, and then we'll be ready to put it on. Then we can, that's all we got done this week. It's days and days of fiberglass and sanding. All right, I think we got this thing sanded down. We dug through that layer of resin that I put on top. I didn't think it was gonna shoot me in the foot like that, but it kind of did. So let me grab, I got brake clean around here somewhere. Let's brake clean this off real quick and then paint. Let's get her painted. It's that time. We can't be having this. Okay. Let's go ahead and move this and go put it in the paint booth real quick so we can go ahead and get this painted. You know, we gotta have it's gonna be sterile environment, you know, so we can paint this. Now, I did forget on the fenders. I forgot to do the primer. So we're gonna go ahead and do the right thing and just pretend like we put primer on it, and then we'll put primer on the nose cone. So let's do that real quick. All right, so now we got this bad boy in the paint booth. Let's go ahead and let's prime it. I'm excited. I'm excited to see this thing not a multicolored white. I think it's just, I'm excited. Let's put some pizzazz back into this thing. You know, getting this fiberglass finally finished on this PUG kind of reminds me of some of my favorite Bible verses. John chapter 6, verses 25 through 29. They found him on the other side of the lake and asked, "Rabbi, when did you get here?" Jesus replied, "I tell you the truth. You want to be with me because I fed you, not because you understood the miraculous signs. But don't be so concerned about perishable things like food. Spend your energy seeking the eternal life that the Son of Man can give you. For God the Father has given me the seal of his approval." They replied, "We want to perform God's works too. What should we do?" Jesus told them, "This is the only work God wants from you. Believe in the one he has sent." Just enough paint. Awesome. Okay, so let's let that dry. I think we should go ahead and put those fenders on. Let's do that. Alrighty then. Let's take we're going to take the 2x4s out. Look at that thing. It's holding itself up, which is awesome because when we took its thing off, man, it was one floppy piece of fiberglass. Are you guys ready? I sure am. Been waiting for this day for a long, long time. Looks like a freaking pug. All right. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry real quick for a short jiff. I'm gonna go grab some lunch because I'm starving, and then we're gonna put this on to that there. You know. So I can't wait. Actually, no, we got to paint the accent color. We got to wait till it's dry. Then we can tape it off. Then we can paint the accent color. Then we can put it on the pug. Or should we just go ahead and put it on the pug first, and then once it's bolted on, then we can tape it off and paint it on the pug? Kind of think we should do that. I think we should do that. Whatever. I'm going to go eat some lunch. right, we got her painted up. It's not dry yet, but it's tacked up a little bit. It's been a few minutes. Let's start peeling the tape off before it's fully cured. Because you don't want the tape to stick to the paint, and then peel paint off. Go very slow. We're going to peel away from the paint. You don't want to peel it, You want to peel towards the paint. And peel away from the paint. I did nice small pieces, especially when I was getting close to these kind of these little corner pieces, or the areas that had some radiuses to them, because you can kind of get the paint or the tape to flex around some of the radiuses. Now, I didn't go just crazy on the radiuses. I could have put it on there and came back with a razor blade and just went real, hog-tastic on the radiuses. I didn't. And I didn't do that intentionally. Because I kind of like the little bit, it's going to kind of blend in. Let's see here. Perfect. Perfect. We did get a little red overspray right down here. We got a little rowdy. All right, let's get this thing dragged back out here. For the 14th time. It's time. Well, I got to paint this plate on the underneath side of the frame that I completely forgot. And then, I'm still trying to figure this microphone out. I'm used to my other microphone that I was using, and it just clipped into the pocket right there, and it was small, and it was out of the way, and it was terrible audio. This one's big and clunky and wires and stuff. Lost audio in the last little clip there because it came unplugged from the little box. So, it's not really designed for crawling around on the floor. That's okay. We'll just get it, you know, it's learning curves. We'll get it figured out. So let's get that nose. Now let's get it put on here. There's a couple little bolts that go on there, a couple that goes up here, and then a bunch that goes, you know, in this general vicinity here. This nose piece is quite a bit heavier than it looks. There's those two bolts that go up right through here, and then I got two bolts that right up here. So I think I'm going to try. Oop. So we're just gonna have to figure out how to get all these pieces to play nicely together. Okay, let me fight with this for a minute and see if I can get that thing on there. Okay, we got the nose on, and now it's starting to, here, let me push it back a little bit so you can see a little better. I mean, look at this guy. He's starting to take form, shapes, and things. Yeah. So this was the original seat here, and so I just brought it in. This is only being held in by two bolts right now. This guy, the two bolts that came up through here, I got too much fiberglass resin on them, and so I'm going to need to get my my dies out. I'm going to need to clean those up before I can put the nuts on there to hold that up. But we will be doing that. But I also have 47,000 bolts to take the fenders and bolt that in the rest of the way into that. And then I've got to re-drill and bolt all the bolt holes to hold these two pieces together. It's a little bit, I don't know how that's going to work so well because there's a pretty thick gap there. We'll get as many bolts in as we can. We'll just say that. We'll just get as many bolts in as we can. If we get two bolts on either side, I think that'll be a lot better than no bolts on any of the sides. So, with that being said, we now have this. We have the original seat. I want to sit in this thing. I just want to, you know, just first time sitting in the PUG. Don't want to put too much weight on the nose because, you know, it's not fully bolted in yet, but there's the throttle pedal so you can see, you know, where the engine's kind of sitting at right now. Now, in all honesty, the seat back is going to be, that's probably about right. It's probably about where you're going to be sitting in it. You see why there's a spinner on there, because you gotta work out just driving this thing. But look at this. We got the body mostly installed. All right, I think that's going to do it for tonight. We got a ton of work done on this PUG. All this fiberglass, it is really time consuming. It takes a long time, but you know what? That's where you're going to see, that's what you're going to see when you first look at the PUG. You're not going to be looking at, you know, the bracket down here, or the motor mount over there, or the fancy little bushings that you made over there. Nope, you're going to be over here looking at the fiberglass. You're going to be looking at the paint going, ooh, that looks nice. Oh, I like that color, right? So you got to kind of take your time with that. That being said, the fiberglass isn't fully installed yet. I still have 412 holes to drill and nuts and bolts to put in. We got lots to do still with that. So it's on there. It looks good for now. But we are one step closer to being able to finalize where the engine's going to be mounted on here and locking her down. So next week, that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be getting all of this bolted down. I got like 50 bolts that go this way and that way, and then we got to mount the shift linkage and drill the hole for the rod and then the thing, and then, you know, that. But then we're also going to get the seat back. We're going to get that cleaned up. We're going to get that painted, and we're going to get that mounted on here. Then we'll know exactly where the seat's going to be, and then we'll know exactly where we can put the engine. At that point in time, the engine's in. We'll probably have to buy a 4.5 foot longer belt. I don't know, but that's what we got to figure out. We got to get this locked in so then we can order a belt. That's the step after that. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Getting this bad boy back on the road. You can see we're making progress. We're making headway or leeway. Marks, burning rubber, eating dirt.